Hi guys, I hope you're all okay. I understand it has been quite a long time since we met. I promised to do the third video of sales management in relation to Etims. Remember, the whole idea is guiding you on how to use Etims. We understand that is a very new system that was launched by KRA, and right now, basically, they are encouraging every business to register for Etims. So, in our previous session, we dealt with the environment of Etims. We talked of item management as well as customer management. So in this session, I want us to talk about sales management. Now, how will you create an invoice? In this context, yes, you're having an invoice. You need to generate a Etims invoice. How will you go about it? At this point, you'll find that it is quite a simple procedure that if you follow it clearly, you will be able to generate your invoice within minutes. That's the beauty part with Etims. That's the beauty part with Etims. So to generate your invoice using Etims, this is a procedure. You just come to sales management. And by the way, if for your information, by the way, you can also change, that's the beauty part with this system. You can also change your language. If at all you don't understand English clearly, you can always use Kiswahili. You can always use Kiswahili. This is a language icon where you can change. Like how good are you in Kiswahili? You can literally change your language here. Okay. So talk of sales management. We just do sales management. Then after I've clicked sales management. This is a report that I'll be having. Of course, I'm having, if at all I want to export VAT, export, talk about search, Z report, sales report. Remember the Z report that you normally tend to generate in your normal ETR. You can literally generate the same here on Etims. So our focus today is basically to understand how will you create an invoice. This is a very simple. You just come to new. You see these details here where I'm having new detail, I'm having modify, delete. So I want to create a new invoice. So creating the new invoice, how will you go about it? You just click new. Okay. Do you want to create, do you want to proceed to new invoice? Yes, I want to create a new invoice. So this is an area where we should be able to work it out. I need to create an invoice. And remember, on the sales management, not sales management, but remember what we had looked at here in regard to, let me close this so that I can show you. In regard to customer management, remember at this point, you had already created your customers. On item management, you had created your items. So sales management is just a matter of us inserting the invoice on the items and customers that we had created. So when you click new, you click yes, I want to insert a new invoice. So I'm going to select customer ID. You see this search icon here? I click. Then in this regard, remember you'll be having the list of customers that you had created at this point. On our end, maybe you select early lead and associates. So after selecting early lead and associates, I'm going to confirm. You can see here, I'm having confirm, cancel, add. If at all you want to add a new customer, you can just create or click add, then you add the new customer. I'd guided you on that earlier on. So in this case, after I've selected the customer that I want to create an invoice to, I'm going to click what? Confirm. So this indicates that I have created an invoice this customer. So you go to the next item, which is very vital and important. What do you want to sell? You see where I'm having these stars, these are compulsory areas that you must fill in the details, okay? So I need to sell an item. These are the items that we had created earlier on. In this case, maybe I'll need to sell, say like, that is one item that I'm selecting. Then I do what? I confirm. So after you have clicked confirm, these are the details that you're having. You see these details? Already, they'll just pop up because you had created them earlier on. Now, on unit price, you need to set, or the price that you're going to basically fill in here. This is the price inclusive of VAT. That's the price that you're going to insert there. Price inclusive of VAT. Kindly mark that very clearly. The price that you're going to put here, it is price inclusive of VAT. So you do 100 shillings, assuming that item is going for 100 shillings. Sales quantity. How many units do you want to sell? Maybe in this context, you're selling 1 unit. Now, on the tax type here, basically, you can select if the item you're selling is zero rated, if your item you're selling is standard, if your item you're selling is exempt, or if your item you're selling, so now I know after the implementation of the Finance Act, we won't be having 8%. 8% is literally for fuel. But after this implementation, of course, this will be taken in category B. So what I need, I'll have category B, which is 16%. So that is the most important aspect that you should be having in mind, that the unit price, kindly, I repeat it again, make sure that it is inclusive of VAT. So after I've done like that, the next step will be to confirm. So if I confirm now, you'll find that it will compute for us our VAT component, whereby in this case, you can see I'm having now the amount to be 100. The VAT on that item is 13.79. And you'll ask, I know what your review, are you expecting 16? It's not 16, right? The simple calculation is you take 100 is equal to 100 is equal to basically 116. So therefore, what about 16? If 100 is equal to 116, what about 16? That's a simple calculation that has been conducted here, where you'll find that it is 13.79. You'll get that it is that value. So this is the first step of creating an invoice. So at this point, after you have created your invoice, the next stage after you've confirmed that this is the item that you wanted, if at all you have other items to add, actually you can just come, you add another item. Say for example, I pick that one, I confirm. On that case, maybe I can add another item, maybe going for inclusive of VAT. Say now take 116. How many units are you selling? You're selling 1 unit. So what will happen? You just click what? Confirm. So if we do confirm, you'll find that I'll be having what? I'll be having that item here. Now the item was picked. I'm having 116 item inclusive of VAT. The VAT amount is 16. So you can see we have created this invoice has 2 items. Because this is the purpose for demonstration, it just allow us, you can have as many items as you want on this invoice bit. But after we are done with this, what I can do, I can literally come and save my invoice here. So I'll save my invoice. So if you check my invoice, basically I have created an invoice. The total amount is 216. The VAT amount is 29.79. And if you can confirm here your total VAT, you see here on the total VAT, the total VAT is clearly indicating the 29.79. The total value of the items are 216. That is the first stage of creating an invoice. The next stage, you can see on the status, this item has not yet been approved. It is waiting for approval. So the next stage would be for you to make sure that this item has been approved so that you can go to the next step of generating an invoice and literally print it out. So let us go to the next stage of approval. How will you approve this? And you should be able to have this in mind, or rather you should have this in mind, that the person who is charged with the responsibility of approving is the person who has been given mandate. Remember when you are creating this, remember when you are creating under environment, recall there are some areas where we gave. Remember here on environment, I guided you guys on this, and we say like if you are an admin, uh, you click user. Now on the user, these are the options or rather authorization status that you can give to your the person whom you've assigned a role. If it is a teller, auditor, or accountant, this is an area where you can assign the responsibilities. Like you'll find that if you don't have a responsibility of basically aspect of we have all these aspect of adjusting pro forma, import, stock, customer price, Z report, refund, user management. You'll find that if you don't have specific aspect of that is authorization, and more specifically here is on adjusting the items as well as the aspect to do with the sales report and user management. These are the key items more so for adjust. If you don't have this if you don't have this authorization, then you can't approve that invoice. The person who will be charged with responsibility for approving the invoice must have this authorization status of adjusting. That is very important. That is very important to understand. Even you as an accountant, when you are creating your, or you as an admin, when you are creating your users, make sure that those that will be charged with the responsibility of approving the invoice, they have this box checked so that they will have the approval permission. So looking at that case, you're saying we are on our sales management. That was just a matter of us looking at what should be done. So we need to approve this. So what are the procedures of approving? The procedures of approving, these are the procedures that you're supposed to use. Number one, you just click the invoice that you've literally created. Okay. After you click the invoice that you've literally created, you go to this next step of doing what? Of these are the details that you're having. Let me just scroll it. These are the details that you're having. So even before you go to the approval, you'll find that the invoice that you've selected, these were the items, the amount as well as their VAT. So the next stage, you just details. You see this icon here, details. So I do details. First of all, we've selected, then you do what? You do details. Okay. So once you have clicked the details, now these are what will appear. This is what will appear. You'll find that I'm having the invoice ID, I'm having the customer ID, I'm having all these details of ours here. All these are the details that you're having. But the question that you should ask yourself, even before you approve, did you have the stocks in hand before selling? And this will literally apply to those businesses that they don't maintain stocks. Later on, I'll be guiding you on the business that do maintain stocks. So this BTS, you're selling an item, which in this case you can see it is one item that you're selling, right? But the question is, do you have this item in store? Because literally, remember when we are creating this company from the first video, we didn't mention, or rather we didn't insert stocks. So literally, you can't sell zero item, right? You can't sell zero item. So what will be the next step? Before you approve, after you've noted that, I don't have this inventory item in store, what you need to do is to come and adjust your inventory. And how will you go about it? Let me close this page first of all. I'll close all of this. So you'll come to stock management. Also, it is on the stock management that will be inserting what? That will be inserting basically our stocks. I'll be guiding you guys on this later on. So you come stock management. I want to have my opening stock. So in that case, I just click opening stock. We have selected basically which item. We've selected item 2. Do I have any? Current stock is 3. We can see item number 5 that we've selected. So item 5, I don't have any stock. But for this item, I can see I'm having stocks. I'm having stock in item. I'm having stock basically in item two, rather item one and item two. So let me create or adjust for item five that I don't have stock, because that is what we had created, I think. So I'll come and do what? Adjust. You want to adjust stock? Yes, I want to adjust my stock. How will you adjust this stock, my good students? I want to adjustment in, you see, I want to add my inventory because it is something that I want to sell, which I didn't have. So this is what I want you to, this is what I want you to realize. On this bit, at this point, you can see item number 5, I'm having 0. You see, I'm having 0. I don't have any item. But after adjusting, this is what you note. So we have said we adjustment in reason. This is for sales purposes. For sales purposes. For sales purposes. I want to adjust one item. So I'll just click one. Then you save. So you realize that now what I'm having an item here. The current stock that we do have is basically one. I'm having an item which I can sell. I'm having an item. You realize that now it has updated my stock. Very important to note. So that once I go to approve, which I'll come to my sales manager, I need to approve this transaction. So we do details there. I can now come and what? I can now come and approve this transaction of ours. So I'll just click approve. Do you want to process the invoice approved? Yes, I want to process the invoice approved. The customer phone or KRA pin, this is my customer, or in this case, this is the pin of the customer. How will you receive the payment? How will be the payment mode? Is it cash, credit, other, bank, check? So in this case, probably I want it assuming to be on credit. So I'll just click credit. So the next stage here, it will be upon us now to print. In this case, some machines will pick PDF directly. Some machines you'll have to convert that PDF basically into another format. So after that bit, what you need to do, I'll just do what? I'll just so after I've printed, you'll find that you take me to probably desktop or whichever basically area that you've selected as a default in your machine. So at this point, the next item that I'll be required basically to do, you'll find that many will appear here as PDF, but mine, because of my several setups, it will appear as Open XPS document, which in this case I can literally convert it to PDF later on. So after that bit, all you'll be required to do is to just save. Maybe in this case, I can save like these sample 2 items, and I'll do what? I'm going to save my document so that if I want to access it, which I'm going to show you guys how to access that, I'm going to access it. Now I know you wonder, like, if you've done like that, then how will you clear it? Was this a real transaction? This was not a real transaction. This was just for the purpose of demonstration. Now that will take us to a concept of basically what you're referring to as what? Credit note. Because in accounts, of course, you can make a mistake you want to correct, but already that invoice was approved. Remember, once it has been approved, there's no way that you can modify. I'll be guiding you guys on modification later on. There's no way that you can modify. If it has been approved, that is to say, the only way that you can correct it is by issuing a credit note. And that is what I'm going to show you after showing you now the sample of Etims. Let me show you the sample of now, whatever that we have printed out. This is how our invoice will look like. You'll find that it is very interesting. It is very interesting. So basically, this is how our invoice basically will look like. You see? Now, basically, this is what we are having as our Etims invoice. This is now what we are having as our Etims invoice. It will literally indicate It will literally indicate all the information. It will literally indicate all the information here, whereby I'll be having it in this manner. The most important area, of course, you'll find that it will give us even the QR, which you can literally do, or which you can literally scan, which you can literally scan. So these are what you're having as our VTR, or as our Etims invoice. The VAT amount is there. So this is what you're supposed to do. So this is how you're supposed to generate an invoice. So in the next segment, I'm going to guide you guys on basically how you can now do how you can do an aspect of a credit note. So because you find that many a times, of course, you'll always probably make a mistake here and there, and you wish to correct that. So that is the procedure of how to create an invoice, and I believe you guys have learned. So meet me in the next session, whereby I'm going to guide you on how to create a credit note, whereby you're just going to use the same details to adjust on credit notes. I believe you've learned. And by the way, in the event that you need tax services, of course, you can always reach us out as Arley and Associates, whereby you can contact us on the numbers indicated below, or just reach us out on 0746 0746 888 398. You can reach us as Ariland Associates, where we can always tend to assist you guys. You have a nice time, and in case of anything, just get in touch. Thank you. Bye.